We want to thank you for joining us today for this CSA chapter spotlight session. We're really excited to highlight 3 outstanding CSA chapters and recognize their contributions to CSA and their local communities. This is an opportunity for us to hear about some of the successes that they had, some of the challenges they faced, and some of the best practices that they worked to implement. We have one chapter that's going to discuss and share their contribution to CSA research. We have one chapter that's going to share their success in hosting an in-person 2-day chapter event. And finally, we have one chapter that's been very successful in engaging with their local community through various outreach initiatives. We hope you enjoy this segment as we highlight 3 outstanding CSA chapters.
Greetings to all the fellow Cloud Security Alliance chapters. My name is Aaron Bragg. I'm with the West Michigan chapter of the Cloud Security Alliance. And I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to pretend that this is one of our podcasts. And with me, I have Lloyd Guyot, who is one of the board members. So I'm going to be quiet. Lloyd, introduce yourself real quick and talk to me about some of the things that we do in our chapter that makes us successful.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Super happy to be here. My name is Lloyd Guyot, and I am the program director for our CSA West Michigan chapter. And I also, in my day job, do security consulting for a local healthcare organization here in West Michigan, which is great. I absolutely love that job, and super happy to engage in the community as well. So some of the things that make our chapter unique or different, I think, are the types of topics, the presentations, the things that we bring to the community, the investment we make back into the community. Some of the things that we look for as we work with the speakers and the presenters that come talk to our chapter about their products and services. And, we're all engineers and analysts for the most part. And I think it's fair to say that we really appreciate transparency and honesty and capabilities of products. So
Absolutely.
when they're coming in, yeah, it's like, we don't want to find out post POC or even in the POC that, something didn't quite meet up to the marketing, hype, if you will, of the product. So we try to take some of that out of the conversation, focus more on what can it do, because maybe your organization is willing to accept their tolerance for risk is accepting of maybe that product doesn't meet something that they need to have, and they have a compensating control for it. So we try to bring that transparency in the conversations. We also try to make sure that in the community, we're taking care of you guys. We bring in some great food and catering and venues. We try to pick venues that are engaging and that have all the necessary spacing and distancing requirements that we need in this time. So we've been doing it at a ballpark here in town, which has been really great. They've been super awesome to work with, and what better atmosphere to have these conversations than in a ballpark. You got lots of room outside, and when the weather's nice, it's just fantastic to be able to get out and move around. So I think those are some of the benefits that our chapter brings. That transparency and communication, getting the marketing speak out of it, bringing in engaging and, carefully curated speakers. As Aaron, you spend a lot of time talking with our speakers and bringing in different people.
Content is king, not another demo.
Content is king. Yeah.
So speaking of not another demo, what does our chapter do with like an online media presence?
Some of the online media stuff we do, the Not Another Demo, as you just mentioned, that is one of our YouTube series where we take the demo out of it. We all participate in so many demos every day in our jobs, and we go to these different POCs, and sometimes it's nice to change that conversation a little bit. So we ask the different people to come in maybe with one slide at the most, and then we just have a normal conversation. We have a natural conversation about their product or service. We kind of step through what it can do. We ask some questions and try to get that PowerPoint out of the conversation and that marketing out of the conversation. Yeah, exactly. We don't want any of that.
A big thing.
Yeah, and then we also have our really bad security YouTube series where we just talk about things that might not be necessarily good security, just areas where you might want to think about the way you're implementing it and maybe take a different course on how you're going to approach that. Aaron, I don't know if you have an example of one of the recent really bad securities. Trying to think of what was a good
Oh,
one.
didn't we have one where like breaking MFA? I think that
Oh
was
yeah,
one of my favorite ones is
yeah. That
breaking
might
old
be
school
really bad
MFA.
security. Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about events. What do we kind of do differently that we offer events besides the great food and the great atmosphere and like the network element? What do we do for like special occasions like Octoberine or maybe some of the
Oh
spring events?
yeah, that's excellent. I'm glad you
What
brought
about
that
your
one up.
swag game?
Yeah, we definitely like to up the swag game. We're in this to give back to everybody in the community. So yes, perfect example. You mentioned the October Ween event. So every October we, actually I think this was our second annual October
Mhm.
Ween. We kind of take a German Fest and combine it with Halloween, and we do a costume contest, and we bring in a great band, and we have all sorts of German themed food. Um, and really just kind of celebrate all that, and have that costume contest to see who dresses the best, and it's a lot of fun. And then throughout the year we try to do different engagements. I think, was it fair to say quarterly we try to do something a little special for
Yep.
everybody?
Every quarter we try and do
Yeah,
something
yeah,
special.
but October Ween's our big one, so we just had that, and it was a great event. So
So finally, tell me a little bit about the big event we had this year. So CloudCon. What is CloudCon?
yeah, CloudCon, I was super excited about. So we did our first event this year. Yes, there's our Cloudy with a Chance of Security. We partnered with the Whitecaps here in Grand Rapids, the ballpark, and we had our first inaugural cloud event, cloud focused event, which was all about cloud and cloud security and cloud services. Um, we had a great turnout. There's a few hundred people there. We had all kinds of great vendors and presentations. I think we were able to bring in some speakers from Netflix, and we had a couple other great
Yep,
keynote
Diane
speakers
Valeri
come in. Yeah,
from Netflix, and yep, and Janai from the West Coast. We actually flew her in. It was a outdoor event, so having it at a ballpark for a couple of chapters. Look at your local places. Think outside the box when you have events. So, in the last 1 minute that we have, I guess, what other advice would you have for other chapters out there? Or maybe talk about the importance to reaching out to your community and how close we are with a lot of businesses in the community.
yeah, I think you mentioned it right there. Is be creative, think differently about the venues and the locations and the topics and the speakers you're engaging with. Think about the different businesses that you're trying to bring in, and the different community groups that you're trying to bring in, and really connect with them, get to understand where their issues and pain points are. And try to make those conversations topical and relevant to what they're doing. The venues always help. We've spoken about that a few times now, to have those engaging spaces for people to get into that are collaborative. We always try to make sure that we have spaces where you can go off and have a conversation. Maybe there's a vendor you want to learn more about. So we typically have a spot where you can go off and have more of a private conversation, which is always great to have.
Hmm.
And again, the
Hmm.
swag game. People love swag. So one of
People
the
love
things we
sweat.
did that was unique is
No click pens here.
no click pens. So and I wish I had an example here, but we partnered with a local brewery and custom labeled, private labeled some of their beer that we were able to give away with some of the swag for the beer drinkers in our community, because security people seem to really love beer. So we had a quarantine beer as our inaugural beer for that series, and yeah, definitely focus on some of that as well.
Well, excellent. Thank you for taking the time to explain to everyone about your chapter. In the meantime, if any other chapters, if they're looking to see how we can get better community engagement, or maybe ask about the swag game or anything else, Lloyd and I and Matt Nelson, Anthony Coggins, other board members, we're here to help. So everyone else, have a good day.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anil Carmel. I serve as the president of the CSA's Washington, D.C. Metro Area chapter. And I was asked to speak on this particular chapter spotlight about the research that our chapter has put together. So our chapter's been around for about 3 or 4 years now. We service heavily regulated industries in our local geography. We have about 1,100 members across government, healthcare, financial, within our local geography, as mentioned. Our leadership team consists of thought leaders from organizations such as AWS, such as MITRE and local startups, really helping to advance the state of the art of cybersecurity within our local geography. So to that end, we really started on this journey of really wanting to create research that made a difference in our local community based on issues that were arising at that particular time. So what I'd like to do is actually bring your attention to our chapter website, cloudsecurityalliance-dc.org, that was put together by our operations team and operations lead, Uma Rajagopal of AWS. So I'll actually just briefly introduce our leadership team because we're all volunteers. So as Dr. Spina serves as the head of research. She is a senior cybersecurity researcher from MITRE with quite a bit of experience servicing the Department of Defense and the intelligence community for over 30 years. So Uma Rajagopal, her team is responsible for all of our back office functions and our chapter website. Leads our operations team. She is from AWS, longstanding experience working with Capital One and other organizations. Chris Hughes, very large LinkedIn following, serves as the co-founder and CISO of Acquia, leads our membership committee. Encourage you to follow him on LinkedIn. He publishes quite a bit of thought leadership content and handles all of our social media outreach. And then we have an events team with folks from App Omni, from AWS, and local government contractors within this local area. So say all that to say, research is kind of at the foundation for what, CSA as an organization does with the research arm. And we as a local chapter truly try to embrace and embody. And we started this journey several years ago. When there was really questions around, zero trust and, really how is trust acquired. So we had several individuals partner as underneath Dr. Spina's leadership and create this first document, Earning Trust in the 21st Century, freely downloadable either here on our chapter website or, of course, on cloudsecurityalliance.org, Global's website. But, really it was around creating in a position paper to address really 4 specific areas. And this is kind of the outline that we follow for all of our position papers here in the chapter, really exploring the technical, social, policy, and regulatory issues around a particular topic, and really being able to decompose those and provide some thoughts for consideration. So encourage you to read this paper if you haven't done so already. The most recent paper that we published, which is being released this month at CSA's Federal Summit, is a guided approach to support your zero trust strategy. And really this was fueled by some of the recent cybersecurity events, Colonial Pipeline, and specific impact to our local geography, President Biden's executive order to improve the nation's cybersecurity, which called for the adoption of zero trust architecture. So given that we are here in the DC metro area and we service our local geography, we felt compelled to pull together a team and really explore those 4 specific key areas of technical, social, policy, and regulatory impacts as you're really trying to navigate how you build a zero trust architecture for a organization, that is inherently complex, and our world is now hybrid as we embrace hybrid cloud. So, with COVID really coming upon us and people working from home, there were a myriad of different things that needed to really be considered to that end. So we did create this artifact, again, freely downloadable on our chapter website, as well as on Global's website. And we dedicated this paper to a local prominent DC researcher whose life unfortunately came to an abrupt and sudden end. Ms. Juanita Cole Pillai, who led the SDN efforts. So we dedicated this paper to her, given that she's in this local geography. Cloud Security Alliance has done quite a bit of work around software-defined networking, and she authored components of this paper. So we certainly dedicate this paper to her. So, with that said, really, no matter the size of your chapter, you have the opportunity to make an impact in your local community. We're all serving here in our local chapter as volunteers because we want to make a difference. So, I highly encourage you, find someone that has a research mindset and background. That individual can help put together and pull together a team of individuals, and you don't have to be senior researchers. You just need kind of a starting point. We created an outline, which you're welcome to borrow by just downloading these artifacts and leveraging them as you see fit. Really understand what challenges your local geography is facing or region is facing. And then put together some people to address those issues and create artifacts that make a difference in your community. And Global is definitely here to help. We've had great partners with Global. We've helped with all the technical editing and formatting and helping get the word out about our chapter's publications. And Global is well positioned to help your chapters as well. If you have any questions at all about how to really embark on this process, highly encourage you to reach out to Dr. Mari Spina, who heads up our research committee. You can email her at research@cloudsecurityalliance-dc.org. Or if you have any questions, in general for the chapter writ large, you're more than welcome to email me at president@cloudsecurityalliance-dc.org. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great rest of your day.
Today, I would like to talk about our 3 years Reconnecting with Chapter Members project. There are many campaigns as part of this larger project. All 3 streams are working in parallel. First, I would like to talk about marketing. We have standardized all marketing templates such as chapter PowerPoint, Word, or even Google Forms. This helps our audience to connect with our chapter's brand easily. We have been using Google Suite for collaboration. Not only it's free, it's very easy to learn for all our diverse members of our board. We're using Google Form to request speakers to submit about their topic, abstract, and even capture information such as about their bio, social media profiles, and speaker headshot. This helps us capture all the information we need to set up the event either online or in person and start the marketing using headshots and tag the speaker on social media for their network to see our chapter engagement. We have streamlined event management from speaker forms, speaker approvals, event logistics, certificate of completion, so that any of our volunteers can host an event following that checklist end to end. Just like any community volunteers, we have a lot of turnover of volunteers as well, which means we needed to have all the steps documented. Instead of training new volunteers every time and repeating the same instructions, we have created onboarding videos for different roles, such as event management volunteers can watch the video where they can see how the event is set up, from requesting for speakers to setting up Zoom webinar and choosing the settings tailored for our chapter. Just like many other CSA chapters, we are a non-profit community fiscally sponsored by a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so we can receive tax-deductible donations, which consequently helped us secure funding from large organizations. Getting sponsors had always been a challenge for our chapter. However, now that we are fiscally sponsored, we have unlocked a different and I would say even unique stream of revenue, which is donations. Large enterprises or corporations set aside budgets every year for donations. However, they can only donate to 501c3 organizations to receive tax benefit per IRS rules. Now, we no longer have to rely solely upon the marketing budgets of organizations who wants to sponsor us and amplify their product and services. This really helps our chapter to invest in the community projects to help our members. Our chapter members are keen to learn and earn CSA certificates. We have established CCSK study groups and even gave away CCSK online training tokens to our heroes who are transitioning from service life to civilian life. We had made pledge to help our troops and students to bring them as part of our chapter. In order to do so, we have set up 2 board positions, one for Chair of Veteran Services and Chair of student enablement. We have placed a Marine Corps Reserve serviceman to lead our veteran services to connect with those who are transitioning or have transitioned to private industry. For our chair of student enablement, we have placed a very passionate student who is part of many student clubs and committed to help other students. These initiatives help us connect with the target audience, which is not exposed to CSA yet, but now being part of our chapter, they are learning about cloud security. Finally, we as local chapter take a great pride in connecting our chapter members. Our chapter is neutral ground, where no matter if you work for competitors, we enable and empower our members to collaborate, share, and learn from each other to fight the common cause of cloud security. At the end of the day, our chapter mission is aligned with CSA to spread the knowledge of cloud security. We have set up resume review workshops for those who are looking for jobs in cloud security focused organizations. We have set up hands-on trainings where our members received access to AWS labs at no cost, no credit card as collateral. We want to create a safe environment where our members connect with each other. Our vision is to continue to provide our local regional events for our members to collaborate and learn about cloud security. Thank you for listening to CSA LA Chapter Highlights.
We'd like to thank everyone for attending today's CSA Chapter Summit. We hope you came away with a greater understanding of some of CSA's audit and compliance tools, CSA's education and training offerings, some of CSA's latest research, and other opportunities to engage with CSA and CSA Global. We really want to thank you for being a member of Cloud Security Alliance and your local chapter. We look forward to connecting with you in the future. Again, we appreciate and thank you for attending today's chapter summit. Thank you, and we hope you have a great afternoon.